Good evening, everyone. All right, let me. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Esther Alayande, and I'll be presenting. I'm a mentee of the Backend track, and I'll be presenting what I've learned so far. So I've been able to learn the backend architecture and also testing the backend. And the major focus is the scalability, the modularization, and automated testing. So I've been able to learn about the MVC structure, which is the model view and controller structure. This structure is it's used majorly for the backend in order to organize and also work alongside teams. So for the basic MVC structure, it contains the central index.js file. So this index.js is the entry point which starts the server, and also for the app.js, it's the one that ensures connection to the database, the middleware, and also the functioning of the app. And then we also have the controllers, which is logic for specific routes, and also for the models, which defines the schema. So let's say you want to create an API for login. So you require the person's mail and their password. So it's in the models that we define what is required for that particular API, and also giving the types that's required. And also we have the utils folder, and this is its own several components: the loader.js, the config.js, and also middleware. So for the logger.js, instead of using the console.log and error to print errors and debug, this really helps by using the info and error function. The info prints the normal log messages and the error prints the error messages. And also the config.js in the utils file is used to handle the environment variables. So this structure really outlines the things that are needed. So there are basic routes for controllers, for models, for test files, also routes, the app.js, and also the index.js. Also, I learned about modern routing and export. So and this is by using the express.router to group related routes. So that when creating APIs majorly, there are different routes using different HTTP requests: the get, the post, the delete. So this express.router helps group related routes. So and this is an example of how it is used. And also I learned about how best it is to name export. So we have the direct export, and we also have another way of destructuring export, but the best way is using the direct export. And the advantage is that the VS Code, this is a tool used for writing the code. It's easier to track where the logic is, and is used across the app. So, okay, next one. So I also learned about introduction to backend testing. So, starting simple, testing logic like reverse or average functions. I was able to learn how to test these basic functions, and also using the jest framework. We also have like some describe blocks, which is used to group test. So there are different tests written. So the describe helps you to group test, and also the test block, which defines the individual tests. So the tests are written, and then the describe is used to group multiple texts together. So also this super test is a library that is used to test the API. So it is installed, and it is imported into the app.js, which I mentioned earlier, that it's the connection to the database. So this is a library that helps you to test the API without manually starting the server. So also I learned about database isolation and state. So when testing, it's it's one of the ways to test is mocking the database. It's just like creating a duplicate. So using the MongoDB memory server, and that is used in order to avoid cluttering the production database. So it's better to have a duplicate to test first instead of testing in production. And also we ensure consistency. So this before age is used to reset the database and with initial data before every testing. And we also learned that there are 3 ways to test in order to ensure efficiency. So you can test by using the name pattern or the dot only, or testing the particular folder, because when it comes to testing, multiple tests are done when it comes to testing the backend and also the database. So also I also learned about refactoring with async and await. So when I was learning, we were using .dern and catch, but learned that it's much better to use async and await. So, and one of the benefits, or the benefit of it is it turns a synchronous code and reads it like a synchronous code, and it is easier to undo errors and also have a clean route handler. So this is like a difference between using the dots then and using the async and await. So it's much better to use it. So I was able to learn how to refactor using async and await. So in conclusion, basically what I've learned so far, I've learned that the MVC structure, which I explained earlier, it ensures that as the project goes, the code base remains readable. It's easier for a team to manage because they all understand the structure and they know that, oh, this particular one is for the route, this is for the controllers, and they're able to work seamlessly. So I also learned about the safety net of testing. So when it comes to they allow us to refactor all those complex logics and update dependency without the fear of breaking existing features. And also I learned about environment parity. This is like ensuring that it works across all devices. So using the cross.mv is a tool that helps ensure environment parity. So not just that it's working in the devices, also works in production. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation.